Brother, could I have mixed fish, please? Yeah. Where? Possible to order mixed fish, please? I'm gonna sit down. Uh, yes, Fanta. Yeah. Yeah. What does it come out as? With rice in the wrap, yeah. How much is that? Yeah. Catch me. Good evening. Morning. British Lebanese. Okay. Thank you, brother. I'm in a Turkish place or a Kurdish place. Right. So it seems like now, because my views have hit quite high for my following and my subscribers, I even got 200 subscribers. It seems like Detective from Keir Starmer's constituency, Holborn Police Station, wants to interview me about. He started to say about an email that I sent to the admin in Westminster Court, which wouldn't have been sent, or the need for it to be sent, living in England where we have lawyers who should be doing these things. But when we work with the Mackenzie Law and we contact them to achieve accountability and answers to the questions that were promised by their senior admin, and they don't get back, and knowing that I have been subjected to this, I let professionals decide what they want to conclude or encapsulate. I did used to say style, but it's clearly there's a lot more to it than that. And there's a lot that I can't say for many reasons. But he also said that there was another allegation, or he started to say it, or at least in the phone call that I listened to again, it suggested that there may be another one or something else behind the scenes, and they're just putting that as a cover to say, well, they're not going to do anything about that because he's suggesting that I come in for an interview, and the way he was going on, if I don't go in for an interview, they're going to arrest me. So it's either that they are going to arrest me, but they don't want to subject to a warrant, or can't get a warrant. They could get a warrant for anything they want, like they just have to lie, which is the reason why I've been forced to do this podcast. Um, so I've been sanctioned, and I've agreed, obviously, to meet and pending meeting, finding a lawyer who will meet me at the police station. And he said that he could do it at either Holborn or Islington Police Station. Both of them are from the same commando in chief, who was formerly Raj Kohli, the Punjabi one, you know. Talking of Punjabis, I've got another one who's a Punjabi, I think, who's taken over my previous case, the one that involved journalist Robert Carter, you know, the Frankist one, the one that's converted to Islam so he could make some money, because they all knew that of this, all this big, enormous amount of money that the journalists and lawyers and barristers and judges and everybody else in the legal profession are now making an enormous amount of money off gagging people from speaking with openness, gagging people with new laws that can deem journalists as terrorists, and that they can take away your rights in any which way they want to. In my case, it's through taking my human rights, making me and deeming me an irresponsible adult, which means that if you're interviewed in a police station, there has to be a responsible adult there. But they pick and choose when they want to interview me with a responsible adult or not. And they pick and choose whether they want to deem me as a person with mental health illness or not. How? In terms of allowing me to be representing myself in front of a judge, whereas in Wood Green, where I represented myself, the Crown Court, and won the cases, both cases were dropped. Or they'll say, oh no, well, you don't have a responsible adult, or we've got to order someone to cross-examine the witnesses for you. Well, my last interaction with the police, Westminster Court, was that they were going to allow me to interrogate the witnesses, to question the witnesses, and there are 10 of them, and most of them are actually police who actually came into the house that I was in to arrest me, and for this swatting, which is yet again another form of swatting done by pretender anti-Zionists. The former one being a community leader, Lebanese community leader up in Birmingham. So if you happen to be the Lebanese leader up in Birmingham, you know about my presidential case, and you swatted me. And now it's been done by a journalist. And so the police now have also, as well as that, leashed detective. I'm in a place where there's music. I've just realised, but it's foreign music. So I have to edit the music out in the background, which may take a little while before we get the algorithms kick in. So the detective, after I found out that he wants to interview me, I informed the public, as I do because it's part of my presidential case, and my lawyer has advised me already that I should be informing the public what happens on social media, and that's why I'm doing it. After I tweeted his name and his warrant card, Detective Gallagher decided to also contact the crisis team, CRISIS, crisis team. Yeah. Did you know that I was eating it here? Sorry? Thank you, brother. And so, is that mine? Yes, please. Is that mine, yeah? This my mine, yeah? Yeah. No, I think I'll take away, actually. No, mate, I'll take it. I did want it here, but I've changed my mind. Brother, brother. Thank you. Merci, baby. Brother, why are you stopping me? Yeah, I'm getting my food. I have never drink. I'll get it for you. Could you go get it for me, yeah? Brother, listen, you told me you shut at 4 o'clock. Yeah. I came in here to sit down. And now you're stopping me from getting my drink because you're saying you shut here. Let me go. Let's just get me my drink and let me go. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers. Very unpleasant. Very, very unpleasant. Not you, them. Well, we are Friday night approaching Shoreditch, London's vibrant nightlife of Shoreditch. And I have decided to eat in there, but after it looking a little bit rough, I ain't gonna get no peace in there at all. So a little diversion to explain my current stand. The moon. Can you see it? That's the moon. Don't know if you can see that tree there.
Yo, why is my man recording, bro?
And so, he's run over to the corner. That's back. So, let's continue. So, the detective also, at the same time, contacts the crisis team, which is a mental health service that's just been overtaken from NHS Candy to NHS North London. I'm led to believe, I'm told. And the person that called me was Cassandra Hoyt, something. I've written it down, I've tweeted it out on my Debunking Tips one word Twitter account. So he calls them and he tells them that Sam is not allowing the Islington Council's yearly gas inspection team to come to my house to do their inspection on my boiler and cooker. And so the crisis team ring me up saying, "We demand to meet you." So many words, but I was fortunate enough to have recorded it and send it to officials, journalists, politicians, leaders of political party in Lebanon, following my case, Professor Ibrahim Moussawi. And they hate it when I'm messaging him, updating him to forward to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I can't send the email to or DM because they don't follow me. And he does because my podcasts have been shown to him by people all over the world, literally all over the world, because the world knows my country, which is here, England, terrorizing my other country, which is Lebanon, where I was born. So the police have manipulated the mental health system to want to demand to meet me on a false allegation of alleging that I am not given access to the gas and heating, gas inspection from Islington Council. Now, they've already been and gone. The people that I did not want to turn up, who I've also tweeted to politicians, including Jeremy Corbyn, who made tweets about this very same contractor who I did not want in my house because they cut my gas supply off, and the head of www.helponyourdoorstep.com, Ken Canoe, the CEO of a independent charity who had overseen all of the terminating my gas by this contractor, cutting off my gas, which means I had no heating, no hot water, and no cooker. They turned off the gas because they said my cooker, which I got to install independently and professionally by registered corgis contractors, that they even identified that Islington Council's repairs team had made sure they cut off my gas supply, deeming the cooker as dangerous, when in actual fact, after we got a new cooker, in actual fact, they realised that it was actually the boiler which was faulty. And this third-party vendor had wrongly diagnosed it and caused me to purchase a £500 cooker, and even which Help on Your Doorstep helped me do with a grant. And even when they wanted to get an engineer to fit, Islington Council wouldn't turn the gas back on without the gas supplier, PJ Edwards or whatever they're called, um, without them doing it. And they didn't want to come and turn on my gas and install the cooker because they're contracted to, because they weren't coming round to my house until about 4 weeks later, which is already 9 months gone, where I've had to have a bath using a kettle to boil and put into my bath. And how many kettles do you honestly think that comes up to before you fill up even half a bath? You think about that. That's a lot of electricity. And when you can't cook food because you don't have a cooker, and if you've applied for it, but they weren't helping me to purchase a new cooker, Help on Your Doorsteps came in and facilitated it, and still they wouldn't install the cooker until 5-6 weeks later, where they were due to install heating system, which was overdue in my house since 2012. So from 2012 onwards, I had no sufficient, correctly installed or proper heating in my house. One of my walls is a glass wall, patio-like glass, and you can actually see outside through the sides of where the seals are, meaning that my house was absolutely freezing from 2012 when I moved in until they eventually replaced my heating and realized that there should be more than one heating radiator in the living room, which was a purpose-built council flat. Now, so I've been terrorized by my local council for grassing them up, for them removing asbestos without wearing protective clothing, a matter of a contractor called Kier Contractors. You'll see my previous podcast. I mentioned Kier Contractors in my conversations with Westminster Court and in my podcasts. Those are the very same contractors that caused tens of thousands of people to be impacted by Islington Council removing asbestos from houses without wearing protective clothing, without wearing what you're supposed to wear. So they go back to work, contaminate their workmates in Islington Council, and then go home and contaminate their own families. So many people have died. I've exposed this information, and I know that most of the mainstream media journalists that were following me, who were following me because Saeed Hariri decided to use one of my tweets to hit a front page headline several years ago, which I made clear. Almost having a brain fade. So the the journalists all knew about it. I've made it clear in big capitals that my MP was allowing this to happen. And then 1.5 years, and I'll go report it. There's a police station as well. But is a police station don't like me reporting my MP. Never mind that she's a pro-Israeli, heavily pro-Israeli MP. That's the same one that called the police once on a false charge on me, which was a tweet that didn't violate terms, and got me arrested and made sure that I never came out of there and or was allowed any of my human rights to seek a lawyer. or contact with the MP, or contact with my family, or contact with having my embassy informed. And so we, from that day onwards, everyone except for my mum stopped speaking to me. My sisters, well, I haven't really seen my sisters in several years. I don't really mix with them or talk to their husbands. You know, their husbands married my sister for the wonderful crown on the passport. That's who they are. I've sussed them out, and I don't like it. And I've never got along with backwards Arabs who are fucking brought up back home, educated back home, and come out here. Those kind of people. I, you know, I'm a people's person. I'll get along with anyone, but these brother-in-laws, especially a couple of them, are and have shown to be dangerous people. One of them, his brother, planted a bomb in Tripoli, Lebanon, many, many years ago, decades ago, and also shot his mate over an argument as well. And he fucked off to Europe, and Europe took him in. Why? Who knows? Maybe they were friendly with one of the former prime ministers in Lebanon, beginning with H. Yeah, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. There are other people that have certainly told me about it. Certainly, the gossip or the word in Lebanon, in Tripoli, in Abu Samra, in the whole of fucking Lebanon know about it. The whole of fucking Lebanon. Just outside what used to be Cargo nightclub. But it's dead, you know. Today's, you can expect it to be loads of people out and about. Absolutely dead. Absolutely dead. I should have stuck on the dark mode. So the police, I asked the crisis team after I spoke to them. Obviously, I was going to record them, and I forwarded it to all the politicians that I forwarded it to, and the journalists and the news stations that I forward them to have been forwarded. Yeah, done them in a DM to Ibrahim Moussaoui, Professor Ibrahim Moussaoui, the political wing of the resistance. And I'm glad after my former podcast, by the way, to drift a little bit of criticizing how everybody wants to label my country a name of a movement instead of what it is, which is Lebanon, and that they are a resistance because before them, they were resisting in Lebanon the Western backed forces, the Zionist cult. So all of a sudden, all the podcasters in Lebanon, all the YouTubers, all the news outlets, all the commentators start to reiterate, certainly not regurgitate, but use the word resistance. Don't forget, we had a resistance in the Second World War, isn't it? What about 40 Towers, the comedy 40 Towers? With, what's his name? You know, the one that was on the black book list on the island. Yeah, nobody talks about him. So I bought my, you see, this is what I'm doing for you here. Look at my food, look. My food is in here. And it's gone cold. I bought a mix of processed shit, the worst type of meat you could possibly want to buy, which is from your kebab shops all around, you know. So let me come back to Detective Gallagher from Holborn Police Station, Keir Starmer's constituency. He told the crisis team, Cassandra, and I asked her for what he sent, but she wouldn't give it to me. And she just gave me the one-liner of apply for it through the email where you got to wait 3-4 weeks. When she's sanctioning to meet me today, she's sanctioning to meet me today. I told her I want to speak to a lawyer first, as I told the detective. And the lawyer that I phoned, which I tweeted out, by the way, said to me, "Oh yeah, no, we heard about this because I was referred to by another phone number that gave me their number, right? The first number I got online was the first number that I picked on Google that came up. And I documented it, I recorded it. Because you have to record it, because if you don't record it, and they throw me in a mental health system by cancelling me and Pierre Millie Thornbury calling the police, all of a sudden I get sent to a mental health hospital for no fucking reason, for a tweet. For a tweet that didn't violate terms. Why? Because she is a anti-Arab person. She's a hater. She hates. And when I expose it, yeah, the police want to deem me as some kind of hate crime, or they want to bring up anything that they want to bring up just to tell me, well, you can't do that, because if you do start talking about my Jewish MP, then we're going to fuck you up. And that's what the police are doing. And they're using the mental health system. Yeah. You doctors, you're on the fucking payroll. You are on the payroll. You will do what you're told, because if you don't, you ain't going to pay that rent next week. Yeah. And besides, you fit people like me in 10 minutes, slots to book an appointment to see our doctor. We can't see you longer than 10 minutes unless we book a double session. And a double session, well, you have to have reasons which they may not say, oh, well, you can't do that in a double session. Look, they're everywhere. Paranoid? No, they're supposed to be everywhere. I want police to be everywhere, which makes me feel safe. But is it? To me, is it? Is it? So the police tell Cassandra, the head of the crisis team, that he's not letting in the gas people and it's dangerous, and whatever else he said. I'm going to get a copy of it. Whatever else he said, no doubt, is probably a total exaggeration. It's lies, probably, more than likely. And they do that because they want to screw you. So they'll use other enforcement department. And I'll give you a classic example that happened to me. They used my doctor, my former doctor I used to use in Islington. They contacted them, and they sent them an email twisting what I had said on an email and doctoring it to make it look worse. So I forwarded it to the ambassador, the diplomat. I forwarded it to the MP, Jeremy Corbyn. I forwarded it to the president's office, Michel Sleiman. I forwarded it to the prime minister's office. I've done it to other people, not the prime minister's office, Babda Palace. I've done it to very influential newspapers and politicians and leaders. Because if I don't do that, if I don't show them the difference between what was sent and what they're sending, then I'm in no position to be able to to believe me, because I was sent to a mental health hospital off of a phone call off of my MP. And it was impossible that I could have been harassing the person that I was allegedly harassing, because that person was my constituency. It was a councillor, Alice Clark Perry. I was tweeting to her because she wouldn't answer the phones or the emails. And I outed her on YouTube, on Twitter. She didn't like it because every time I tweeted, when I had my popular account, every time I tweeted, it used to hit over 380,000 people's Twitter accounts, whether it's in lists, much more in lists. I was listed in amazing lists that no Tom, Dick, or Harry will be able to see. Governmental lists, agents lists. I was put in agents lists for some reason, where you had access to seeing a lot of information from all sorts of um, government agency leak forums. And I'm not a man to want to join forums or anything like that, because I don't want to be part of any of it. And why should I? Because the definitions of law and legality today are being twisted and misinterpreted and misreported to sound completely different. And all of a sudden, they could put any charges they like, whatever. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing it happening on journalists, where they're doing their own job and yet they're being criticised for doing their own job by calling them terrorists who are just exposing what's going on. That's what it do. And so I had to speak to the crisis team to tell her that I've already got a copy of my certificate of my gas annual inspection check, and they'd already turned up last month in October. So I told her, give me an email and I'll forward it to you. And she said, no, it's all right. But, you know, you were quick to believe the police. Why don't you say, yeah, bring the certificate for the gas? Why don't you say that? I could be a liar, you know? But nah, she'll believe the police because they are the police. Do you understand the difference between right and wrong? Because when you fraudulently contact another department, this being detective or his sources or his people, Detective Gallagher, who apparently is the person who sent the referral, or from his department. They sent a referral to mental health to contact me, to subject me, to sanction me to the mental health system, so that they can come round my house and smash the door if I don't want to meet them, because they've done it before once, where I was detained for the second time purely because I've been contacting for year after year the former hospital where I was detained, asking them for release notes of my case when I was on hunger strike. And the doctor didn't want to do that. Nah. What did he do, Dr. Alcock from Huntercombe Hospital? He issued the crisis team to arrest me under the Mental Health Act for the second time. So far, it's been twice so far that I've been issued to be sectioned. The second time, I won my appeal. That was when the former First Council diplomat Hazem Abdus Samad rang up the hospital, Dr. Bonacorso, demanding I'm released. Not sure who he spoke to in there, but they rejected it. And then when I went on an appeal, yeah, hello, just waving. When I went on an appeal, um, shit, she was making a pass at me. I didn't even realise. Got so much on my case. Um, yeah, to come back to where I was. Women, eh? Especially the ones that have been empowered in today's age, today's world, like my sisters. I am certain they've been through some reprogramming training without a shadow of a doubt. So the mental health team now have been leashed on false reports of alleging that I letting my local gas inspection team to come in, which has already been done last month. And so this is why I started to inform the public. This is why I'm doing this video. Because now, not only are they on my case for me, I mean, recently I've met Imran Hussain, and then on that same day, I also, my hands are so freezing. On that same day, I also, yeah, the, so the detective wants to see me, and the crisis team demanded to see me, and I informed the public about it, and that is it. You see how I lost time? I've already burnt 2 pizzas, and next day I burnt the lasagna, which was my plan B. Well, that was my plan B. So I burnt both of them. Um, and these things happen because of worrying and being concerned about what's going on. And I haven't even seen my mum yet. And today I spoke to my mum, and my sister has stopped my mum from telling me where she is. They're denying where that basically my sister doesn't want me to meet my mum, and she's been advised by the same type of cunts in the crisis team, yeah, who are controlling her. They've elevated her in the same way as we commonly see today. I've already discussed this subject before. Traffic wardens, most of the traffic wardens you see out there are my African and black brothers and sisters in undesired jobs of foreign policy type government jobs. We see Lammy is a black guy, in it. We see what's his name again? The former president, the former prime minister, Sunnak. He was brown. We see other leading figures and mayors. A Muslim mayor was in Islington, Claudia, whatever her name is, when she was in Islington and was thrown out. We've seen loads of these new figures, and they put them in all sorts of different positions now, where they, even Dr. Hankir, or he calls himself Professor Hankir, well, who demands £200 an hour and doesn't take legal on aid. That Lebanese one that has been elevated by the new World Health Organization. And why are they picking these Lebanese individuals? So my sister was easy pick to be put in a position that they put her in. And I believe that they guinea pigged me on it. They guinea pigged me, yeah? And they allowed her to oversee it all. And she was thinking that she was getting training. Is that right, Ruby? Because last time I see my sister was in 2012. And prior to that, 20 years, maybe 25 years before that, I've seen her. So she knows nothing about me. But she's pulling strings which have caused these contacts that she's had to elevate her in her position. And now they're controlling her, and she's controlling my mother against seeing me because they're controlling her. And I've already exposed one of my sister's husband, my brother-in-law. his brother has planted a bomb in Lebanon. I've already exposed that. So why don't you investigate that, journalists? Yeah, out there. There's only one ساعة بلبنان بطرابلس سنترال. حطوا قنبلة بالسنترال بطرابلس. Yeah? Investigate it. It was Hariri's lot that done it, weren't it? They don't like me saying all this, yeah? They don't fucking like it, yeah? They don't fucking like me exposing my findings. Lebanon is a small country, you know. You can't be fucking going around trying to hide something that everybody knows, yeah? What I'm saying is history. History is part of fucking history. Yeah? I already done my due diligence and I informed the British forces, yeah? Because I don't want his son being a security at Heathrow Airport. They weren't so fucking quick to debunk that, were they? Yeah? You say you claim you security clear your staff, yeah? Well, you're lucky you met me, Chief of Security at Heathrow, Mr. Cohen, yeah? You've already got an email off of me telling you I don't want him working in that job. Because if he goes on holiday in Lebanon, someone comes up and approaches him, oh, you work in Heathrow, yeah? Yeah. And all of a sudden, blackmail goes very, very easily in Lebanon. They love all that. I heard that my mum was detained against her will when she was in Lebanon, when I was contacting Westminster Court. And they put her in a hospital and they took money out of my sister because my mum couldn't tolerate my fucking sister. Yeah, that she went away with this person that was being all nice and kind to her in Lebanon. And I had to call the Lebanese police out there to get involved and debunk which hospital my mum was in while I had court cases in Westminster. You want to talk about fucking stress? When they were bombing Lebanon and I had court case at Westminster because I used the word MP Emily Thornberry in the email, in the sarcastic email I sent to a journalist. And that cunt turned out to be one of the rogue elements that I'm debunking, which is probably the reason why Detective Gallagher wants to meet me. I don't know. I probably said something in my podcasts that I didn't know about. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm actually guessing. I am debunking what's happening. Upload my YouTubes before they shut them down. Yeah, because they're taking them down without my knowledge. Yeah, there's YouTubes that I've done that I think about, shit, man, what happened to that one? I said this, and that. What happened to the one that I told Lebanon about all the IT information, all the IT information that I blessed Lebanon time and time before anything happens? They could shut me down for anything they like. They could dictate anything they like and shut me down. Yeah. They've still got my laptops. They've still got my phones that they've took from last year, November, when my dad died, and they arrested me a couple of days after my dad died because Robert Carter, the journalist cunt who's infiltrated Press TV, yeah, and now is currently working for the same advisor company to Mohammed Hijab, the YouTuber, yeah. Read my tweets. They don't do me justice. They don't do me justice because I speak better than I tweet. But now we're in a world where we're forced to put it down on paper. We're forced to deal with customer service on paper. And because they start to turn the service, instead of from quality, into shit service where they piss you off, anything you write down, they can screw you with it. And they can sanction you with it. Anything you write down, anything on social media is now subject to cyber laws, which most of the public don't know about, now subject to local laws in countries which most of you don't know about. I want to say so much يا لبنان. يا لبنان بدي لكم يعني كتير كتير بدي اخبركم، بس الواحد بهالبلد today ما فيه يحكوا، ما فيه يحكي ليش؟ لانه عم يطلعوا قانونات جديد ولوز جديده منشان يوقفوكم، منشان تحكوا بالصراحه. ايه اليوم today I see Kevok. What's that Armenian geezer? He's not Syrian. I just want to make absolutely clear, right? Kevok is not Syrian. Yeah, he's Armenian. Make that absolutely clear. Today he touched on some subjects which were exactly what's happening in this country, and it seems to us in the Western world that these Arab countries are not aware of. So he did update the public about it, that we can't speak as openly because we can get shut down, we can get arrested and put in a prison cell. Once you're put in a prison cell, there are people there who work on behalf of Mossad. And Mossad is a organisation which does a lot of business with England's police. Yeah? Remind you, Nice Limited, by the way, the word Nice Limited, the word nice was mentioned by Detective in his podcast, in the phone call to me. So you who've been forwarded that phone call, and I have to forward it to for my security, because otherwise, if I had a lawyer who we could trust in this country, then you wouldn't need to do all this. But I'm doing this to document it because I've been to a mental health hospital and they've wrongly diagnosed me, and they've deliberately done that to ridicule me so that I'm not able to stand up and speak with openness. Yeah. So we're going to move, shall we? There you go. It's a move. So these laws are stopping us from talking. We criticise Israel. Even me telling the public about what happened to me, like my lawyer told me to do. Yeah. And I remind the public it wasn't a normal lawyer, it was a specialist lawyer in mental health. She tells me to tell the public, I quote, Sam, I urge you to inform the public of your findings, unquote. Yeah, um, most people want to ask, why is a lawyer advising me, a 17-day hunger striker, who was put in communicado meaning when they don't give you a lawyer, don't give you a contact with your family, and don't let you contact anyone, they just put you in isolation. And I go on hunger strike 17 days, yeah, off of a phone call from a Jewish MP. Then they like me saying she's Jewish. I can't say she's Jewish, yeah. But Tommy Robinson can go around and cover up all the paedophilia ring across the world by pulling out his stories to cover up exactly what Israel was doing. Yeah, it's all right for that. But when we say Epstein was a Mossad agent and all these others, and when we see how Israel controls governments, and when you talk about it, they don't like it. So they'll pull out, like Detective Gallagher now did, who pulled out that stunt. And please circulate the message that Gallagher is using enforcements which are fraudulent, yeah, because he's dictated to the crisis team that my boiler hasn't been checked and it's like health and safety and all this, and he's probably scared the fuck out of them. Now, if I don't meet them tomorrow, that's it. They're going to detain me under the Mental Health Act. And when I meet them, nobody else is going to be there. So whatever I say to them depends on whatever they put down I said to them and whether they want to twist it. apply the twisted thinking, and then they've probably been given instructions to detain me. It's probably already been arranged that that's what they want to do. Yeah, because I've come out and I've told the public, like I'm doing now, because I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah, they've taken action. Yeah, I already knew that he wanted to interview me, but the fact that I gave out his name, CID don't like that. They don't like that. But if I had a lawyer, I wouldn't need to. But I'm doing it because I don't have a lawyer. Yeah, and the lawyers, they have a internal system. It's called the Libra platform, and also the Common platform. And these are like little internal data information that they keep between the courts and them and the police and that. Or, well, no doubt the police, but they're probably not meant to keep that from the police. But what's the point if the lawyers are going into police stations and using the Wi-Fi in the police station? What's the fucking point? You gotta loosen up the nuts on the condom. You gotta loosen up the nuts on the condom when you wanna insert your socket to receive wireless. And unless you've got firewalls that are protecting the router, yeah, and all the other intricacies and anomalies that are involved in you accessing the internet, yeah, the police will have access to all of that data. And who else has got access to all that data? NICE Limited, the Israeli company that's affiliated to Mossad, have got all the data that the police have got, that the court have got, because they've got a contract with them. And you are looking at someone who's got 27 years experience in dealing with third-party vendors. I am a debunker. I'm a micromanager of incidents. I'm a former Hewlett Packard employee with over 27 years in the IT sector, the logistics sector, the distribution in England. I've been to every part of the fucking country in England, yeah, with the exception of a couple of places. Every part of the country, yeah. So when you're a manager, did you need to wake up everybody just for that? Yeah? What time is it? Lucky the police ain't here. Micromanaging contractors. I know when an engineer comes to my house and wants to do inspection on a boiler, what he's supposed to do. I've sent out engineers in different sectors of third-party vendors. Engineers in building contracts. Yeah, I schedule building contractors. Yeah, building of all sorts of different parts, bearings, belts. What do you want? What do you want me to say? Pump, bugle pumps. What are they called again? Um, Pumps that pump up water or heating or air up to buildings. All of that I've done. I've scheduled that out. I've scheduled IT out to a different segment of engineers with a different intelligence of level, ranging from your hardware engineers going up to your software engineers. Yeah, I've scheduled work out to drivers in the logistics. I've trained them up to become technical couriers. I've rolled out contracts for couriers. I've owned courier contracts, yeah, including contracts with Jewish companies. Check my timeline. I inform the public. Yeah. So I've worked with Cisco. I'm a qualified and trained distribution for Cisco, contractor, manager, account holder. Yeah. For Cisco. You know who Cisco is? We give you a hint. Everything you do on the internet goes through a Cisco systems. Everything you do. So the finest of IT firms I've dealt with, I've run their contracts on a daily basis, on a 24-hour basis for over one long stretch. I've been headhunted several times, even called back to work in the previous company, higher jobs, higher job status. So we know what we're talking about when we talk about debunking third-party vendors and contractors and subcontractors to Islam Council, and being one of the few people who exposed Islam Council removing asbestos without wearing protective clothing, first in the country, found on a hidden file off of a health and safety report officer from Kier Contractors, who I phoned immediately after he released that, and I made it public and spoke to him about. I went to the police station and told him about and reported my MP, Emily Thornbury, for allowing it to happen. And then 1.5 years later, it hits front page national headlines. So I'm not really liked by my MPA and I. So the police don't like that as well. They don't like people who are community members, yeah? People who have got empathy for the community. They don't like that. Especially when you look like an Arab like me, yeah? With a fucking Arabic name, yeah? Because racism is fucking huge in the police system. Huge, huge. People are leaving left, right, and centre from the police force. The brainwash is so dangerous, let alone the pills that they give you to take when you go on your training. So when you get these crazy police officers, some of them have been drugged up with drugs. Who knows? All you need to do is to approach a politician and go like that, or take one of their hair, yeah, stick it in a bag, and send it off to a lab and do a lab test on it and see if they've got drugs on it. This is the new protesting of today. Or if they've been drinking from a cup, then the cup on the swab of that politician. These are the new techniques that I'm already hearing about. They're already being practiced out there. There's loads of ways of uniting against police. This is one of them, me telling the public about what's happened to me. I can assure you that common purpose is embedded in at least one of my sisters, Ruby. I swear by it. Swear it. I think she knows it as well, and I think she's as deluded as the word itself. And I ask الناس اللي بيفهموا. I want this case debunked. راح يسكتوني بطريقة ما مزبوطة، بطريقة خطر. What else did I want to talk about? Now, I came here for some facts. Let's do that. There's a lot I wanted to talk about, but and you see, a lot of you have an expectance of me to act more professionally. Mate. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to attract tens of, yeah, tens of thousands of millions of views? Why would I want to do that? Hello, brother. Can I have 20 Benson and Hedges Sky Blue Super King, please? A carton of orange juice. Yeah. The white carton. The carton. Yeah, it's a carton. Is it smooth? Oh yeah, sorry, smooth. Yeah, sorry, your accent. Smooth or well. Can I have a bar of chocolate, please? Yeah, dark chocolate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to come in, but your doors are locked. No, no, that's it. Thank you. This contractor here, it's a chain, food food chain, but they're also a petrol station 24 hours. I've debunked them. There's a flaw in their contract. Thank you, brother. Can I have a packet of Pringles as well, please? Vinegar, salt of vinegar Pringles, please. Salt and vinegar. Yeah, Pringles. Anything else? Thank you. That's it. Yeah, this contractor, once they've taken over the contract with Co-op, they stopped allowing people in after 12 o'clock midnight. And they've contracted to have certain amount of people here. There's a lot of robberies going on. So they've shut the door, killed the business off at night. No one could go in there to buy anything. And all due to a lot of people coming in and robbing the places in a endemic manner, on a daily manner, almost hourly manner. We are seeing these kind of robbing. Nah, it's all right. Yeah, how much is it? 1985. Sounds like a year. There you go. They were shocked. Handing over the cash. My gosh, he's got cash. Thank you. Can I have a receipt, please? Merci. Cheers. See that bag there? £34, £35, probably a little bit more. £35 there, including 20 fags. I tweeted a price of a Evian bottle of water, which I was forced to buy. Why? Because they put the products that they want you to buy. Yeah, because the stock for the water I wanted had run out. So they only buy a small amount of the um, cheaper quality. They only put on their shelves the smaller, cheaper quality stuff, or the stuff that they want to promote, like Coca-Cola. They'll allow ample space for Coca-Cola and give you deals on them and so on. This is how they operate the free market, the alleged free market. And so for the last few days, I've had unusual sleeping hours because of this stress that they've induced onto me in the same way that they tried to induce on me last time. And I'm informing the public so that they know. And to you lot out there who think, well, Lebanon is being bombed to pieces and here I am restricted from being able to talk openly. The war is here. The war is every country we go to. The globalization of localizing laws of thought control, laws of restricting you from speaking with openness, laws with suggesting that they can kill anyone they like and slaughter any Lebanese, Syrian, Palestinian, Yemeni, Iran, Iraq, and all the rest of the countries. But you can't say nothing back, or you can't finger point the politicians that made those decisions. You can't criticize them. Well, I said to Detective Gallagher from Holborn Police Station, why don't you say you can't criticize Jews and write into laws? Why don't Keir Starmer say it? Because I called Detective Gallagher a fucking racist. And he is a fucking racist because if he's enforcing this alleged hate law, I told him, well, why was it? Was there the word Jew there in the email that I sent? And he said, yeah. And so because of the word Jew, that's the reason why I am being interviewed. Now, they've pulled out probably a couple of other things. I don't know. We'll see. Has Ali Dawah reported? Certainly, Ali Dawah has made a video and he used another name. And he spoke about me subliminally, of course. You'd have to see which one it is. And so did what's his name, Mohammed Hijab, also subliminally. And you'll have to check it out. They're West Asia journalists. They're anti-Zionists, as you know I am. Now, what else? I've also now I won't talk about Sheikh Ibrahim Hussein, not in this podcast. On that note, I'll give Bidri a good day. You don't hear me, you don't see me after now with another podcast tomorrow afternoon or the day after or the day after or the after, then you know why. And all I will say is start talking about it if you can, because I'm on the same boat as West Asia, by the looks of it.